Good evening, everyone. We're glad you're here. Grab yourself a beer, a cup of coffee, or your favorite hallucinogenic, and join us for another episode of Two Average Joes with your hosts from Lake Havasu, Arizona, Tony P., and from Long Beach, California, Joe Kelly. We hope the next hour will educate you, entertain you, and maybe give you that much-needed moment of reflection. So without further ado, Two Average Joes.
Throw a little teaser out there. We're not going to start off with it, but I want everyone to stick around. We're going to talk a little bit about the alien possibilities and the relation with God. So coming up, I want to get your take on a couple questions.
Well, that sounds great. Well, while we're looking at that, let's think about something here. In 1977, Star Wars came out, the first original Star Wars. At that time, France was still using the guillotine as an official method of execution.
Really?
Yeah. Hey, when I was working at a place called Skomas of San Francisco, they had a location in the desert out in Palm Springs, Palm Desert. Rancho Mirage is exactly what it was. And I worked with a guy, I think his name was Jean, and he actually, as a kid, had everybody in the town. He's from a little town in France, and everybody had to go to watch a public execution.
Yeah.
It was the way they deterred crime.
There was probably less crime.
That's exactly right.
I had a buddy, Sean, worked with them, and he was from Pakistan, right? And he said, like, if you were caught stealing, it was off with the hand, and then the stub put into a pot of boiling oil or whatever to seal it. I guess that works. I'm not willing to try it.
Hey, I had a seventh grade woodshop teacher. Above the bandsaw, there was a little jar with a thumb in there. Pickled thumb. Just remind you, it's like this thing.
Good thing that's all he cut off. That could have been. It could have been quite a lawsuit these days.
Well, I've watched butchers just cut meat with those things, and it's like, man.
Well, that's what happens when you become good at something. Like carpenters and stuff like that. They take that safety guard off, right?
Yeah.
This thing's in the way, and then you end up cutting yourself. I mean, shit. I cut myself. I almost lost the whole edge of a finger, and it was cleaning the slicer, which is more dangerous than slicing food because then you got the guard on it, right?
Yeah.
But I was cleaning it, right, and I'm spinning the towel, and man,
it's the worst.
Dude, I went around to 2 doctors' offices, maybe 3, but I went around a couple of doctors' offices because I just opened up the deli, right? I didn't have any money, and I didn't have any insurance, and finally, the second, third office I went to, the doctor was out for the day, right? So the nurses were only one there, and they're like, "We'll do it. We'll stitch it up." And I'm like, "Let's do it," right? So there's like 3 of them. And man, yeah, they shaved it. Oddly enough, the only thing that shaved that finger was the callus you develop, when you're chopping.
Yeah.
You get that callus on the inside finger. Yeah. That's where the blade stopped.
Wow. I was managing the Outback. Maybe I shouldn't say the name. No, it was the Outback out in Brea. And we
won't say it by name, okay? We won't talk about it.
But no rules, just right. How about that? Something like that.
Right.
We had like 175, 180 days of without an accident. So they're doing something, and this guy walks in and goes, "Hey, the prep cook cut his finger." I'm like, "What?" Comes wrapped completely, and we finally take a look at it, and there's no tip of his thumb. It's gone. And I'm like, well, and I'll go back and look at the piece of chicken, and his thumbnail is sticking in the top of the piece of chicken. I'm like, well, we might need that. We'll just throw the chicken away, take that, put it in a little bag of ice, and take it with him. It was too small for them to put anything on, but it was still stuck. The nail still stuck in the chicken. That was like pretty wild. Like first for everything. Don't eat chicken at Outback. Oh, Hey, young man, how you doing?
So the Vegas Knights look like they may wrap it up, eh? Wow.
Can you believe that? I mean,
someone said something like they scored 3 goals in 49 seconds. I don't know if that's the exact number, but what the hell? Did the goalie fall down, take a nap?
You think about the like the Blackhawks and those teams like that, the Maple Leafs, and then you've got the Vegas they've been around for 5 years and they're already almost two-time world champions. Crazy.
Well, didn't they win was it the first year or second year? I mean,
second year. Hey, money can buy a good team, I guess, if you can afford it. Vegas, just a little bit of cash flow.
Well, they do get a lot of cherry picking. I don't know if it's the same in hockey. I would assume it is, but just like any football, when those expansion teams, they're not limited. They're starting with 0, payroll. So they've got some bucks and they're able to do and bring people on that normal teams just couldn't afford to do. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8 superstars. Can't happen. Otherwise, you'd use up all your cap space. But that's where the Lions have been, interesting, successful with their drafts. Everyone's always like, well, why didn't they get this guy? Why didn't they get him? Why didn't they get him? And you sort of can't fault what they put together. Now, yeah, they haven't gone to the big dance, but they're not the same team they were, 4 years ago.
Right.
They're a
Right.
contender like 3 years in a row now. They're a team that people look at, and there's just a bit of, comfortable respect now, right? They're in the mix, I believe. I believe that's the general thought. And they
Yeah.
definitely have a viewership. I mean,
Well,
when they're on, ratings are up.
Well, and the thing is because there's a lot of people who have thought about the Lions every Thanksgiving all their life. You know, they've always been a part of our Thanksgivings because they've always been there. They're like one of the OG teams, and so I mean, you think about when they start doing well, it's like, wow, it's nice to see them finally start doing well. And
Right,
then now
right.
they've got a good coaching staff put together, so it's just a matter of time before they fine tuning it. It's like a New England type of thing, or like the
Yeah, well,
Braves in baseball.
hope
So
it happens soon.
yeah.
I know we've touched on this before, but I believe it's officially confirmed now. Bears will be going to Indiana.
But they will retain the name Chicago Bears, I believe. I heard that's what they said.
Is that, yeah? So you would assume that when we spoke about it last time. So
Right.
you stand correct.
Well, it makes sense to me. It's like, why change that? The Los Angeles Chargers doesn't sound right. I mean, I don't know. It still doesn't sound right to me. It'll
Never
always
will.
be the San Diego Chargers to me, always.
Always,
So,
always.
anyway,
That was a travesty in sports, I believe. I
yeah,
believe the city owed them that stadium. They were a draw. The old stadium sucked for football.
yeah,
It was a baseball stadium. There's
yeah.
nothing worse than watching a football game in a baseball stadium. It's too wide. But anyway, they suck. But so I wanted to pick your brain on something.
Okay.
I have to pull out a note. I read about it and I thought, well, this is interesting to get your take. So Steven Spielberg, I guess, is putting a movie out called Disclosure Day,
Right. Heard of it.
and it obviously is revolves around UFO disclosure and aliens. And he posed a very provocative question, and I want to get your take on it first. Is God only our God here on Earth, or is God the creator and God of every civilization throughout the universe?
Well, that's an easy question for me to answer because I believe that there is one true living God who's created everything. That Big Bang, that was him just deciding, okay, let's get this ball rolling here. Now, people have said to me, it's like, oh, so you believe in alien life? And I said, yeah. Well, how can you do that and be a Christian? Well, first of all, I didn't pick Christianity. God chose me. That's the way it is in my life. It's like I feel him, I talk to him, I hear him, so I know he's a real entity because I feel it. So I didn't pick him. He picked me. Now, if he wants to do something in his spare time, who am I to complain about the guy who basically, I mean, if to people who are new Christians, you don't say this to, but there's a Paul, the apostle, who was a Jew, a real mean Jew, and then he converted to the biggest persecutor, most persecuted Christian ever. I mean, he's just, the way that Paul looked at it is that he said, look, we're just clay. If the potter wants to make a nice vessel out of us, he can do that. If he wants to make a common plate, he can do that. We're just something that he made.
He wants to make an ashtray. So this is how. Okay,
Those ashtrays I got.
I don't want to change the subject here, but it's so classic. The difference in life now, because you know what I'm talking about. Back when you were in art class or whatever, I mean, I did it. You made a clay ashtray for your parents.
Go figure, huh? Or for the doctor that you were going to get your physical from, because he'd be smoking when
Right.
you get your physical anyway. So,
Right. Yeah. Remember the little McDonald's ashtrays, the little gold foil ones?
dude, well,
Right in McDonald's.
I remember cigarettes, candy cigarettes that you puffed on them and smoke came out of them. You blew on them and smoke came out.
I was just talking to someone about this the other day. They were like, boy, but there's a bunch of candies that we had growing up that they don't even allow anymore. And I'm like, well, I'm pretty sure the fake cigarettes off the shelf.
That's off the shelf. Yeah, no kidding. But as far
Sort of
as
chalky anyway.
as far as God goes, it's like, I think that there is one true living God, one true, who's responsible for everything. Now, there other gods. They even say in the Bible they use the small letter G with those kind of gods. They are, because every religion has their gods, so to speak. I mean, but there is one all and powerful living God. That's what I believe. So yeah, I believe that he's the God of those creatures, whatever they are. And it's like I just don't
Okay,
occupy my
so
time with that.
so a couple things that have come out, and I sure wish we had the graphics, but people have probably seen them. There's some scientists that say that there was basically four types of aliens
Right.
discovered, but potentially, I don't know if it applied to all of them or just one sect, but that they were actually from the future, if that makes sense. And I don't know if that's implying that in time that's what we're going to become. I've never been opposed to the argument that the Earth has reset itself a few times. Would that not apply in a Christian belief versus a science belief, or do you think that's never even really happened? We know it sort of did in a way in the Bible because of the 40-day flood. I mean, that was a reset. I mean, right? No different
Yeah.
than the Ice Age. The Ice Age was a reset. I mean, there was resets, but I mean, there was even some where everything was wiped out. Do you think that's possible?
Well, I mean, we could find out soon enough because there could be a catastrophic, what they call 'em, an extinction event could happen at any time to us. They're just not going to tell us. I mean, people need to pay attention to. Some people thought it was a silly movie, but Armageddon. The thing
Yeah,
is that
fantastic.
well, the things to think about are it's like, look, this meteor is going to hit Taipei or China, wherever it is. We got to let him know. He goes, what are you going to tell him? What can you tell him? Hey, you're about to die. Everybody within a 100-mile radius is going to die. You
And
can't do anything.
anybody that you told would just make the situation 1,000 times worse.
Yeah, it's called
Right? No,
you
no.
add panic to situation. So it's like that's a
But
tough one.
isn't there some that they say that could literally hit, even if it hit in the ocean, could literally destroy the whole Earth?
Well,
Isn't
that's
there, if they're
without a
large enough?
doubt. Without a doubt. I mean, the ocean is maybe deep to us, but if you've got a piece of rock the size of Texas coming at us, it's just going to make it's going to be like hitting a puddle. It's going to hit rock bottom, but see the wave that's going to cause a reverberation in all directions because of the force of the impact. That
Right.
that the physics say that the energy is going to get translated into that wave action, and you're going to just everything's going to get flooded. Everything. It's going to be ugly. But I think that we might be wiped out sooner than that because of the nuclear threat. That could happen. And being where I am,
Right.
I don't know about where you are, but I'm close to Los
Well,
Alamitos, so it's like,
let's
hey,
put it this way. If I left my little booth here and went out to the porch, I can see California. So that's how close I am. So as a crow flies, I'm doomed if there's an atomic bomb. It just takes forever for us to drive there because we can't drive through the San Bernardino forest and Big Bear and all that, right?
right.
So geographically, it takes us 4 hours to get over there, 4.5 hours. But as a crow flies, dude, we're right there. I'm staring at San Bernardino County when I walk out my door.
Yeah.
So earthquake as well. I've felt a couple here, but I mean a big one. Like if there was an 8.5 or something in LA, yeah,
Yeah.
we'd feel it. I don't think it would level things, but
Well, but at least you have property on the good side of the fault line, so it'll be beachfront property someday.
right.
So
But I am close enough. I only needed to take out about a half a mile. So okay, well that's interesting. Do you think though, just real quick, could some of these aliens been or are from the future? Like they've already been through the shit we're going through?
Well, here's the best way that was ever described to me about understanding about a fourth dimension or not being involved in time is sitting at Pasadena Avenue during the Rose Bowl parade. Okay. Let's just say you're about halfway through the parade. You can't see what's coming. You can only see what has gone past you. But if you're up in the blimp, you see the beginning of the parade and the end of the parade. You're seeing everything. So you're not a part of that time frame. And so I believe that, like, people that talk about heaven, there's no time in heaven because it's eternity. But I believe that you're above time. So like with my daughter that died, I told my wife, it's like, hey, snap your fingers and we'll be right behind her. That's how fast it's going to happen because eternity is involved. So do I believe I believe in alien life. I believe in the fact that they could have come here from the future and looked at us. I don't have a problem with that. Just because I don't understand something doesn't mean it doesn't exist. I mean, it's like
Right.
people say, well, you're trying to explain or like a good example is that you look in the Bible and they'll talk about in heaven, the streets are paved with gold and they look like this. It's like, is it real gold? What he's trying to say is that whatever you can think is the most lustrous thing in the world is just commonplace
Right.
up here. So it's like,
They're trying to describe it in a flesh tone verbiage
Right.
because of that's what we relate to. But the truth is, there's no description,
Well, it's like if
right?
would you can say conservatively, there's maybe 2, 3 thousand languages in the world. I mean, is that conservative? Maybe of those. I mean, maybe of those, English is one of them, and a person who has commanded the English language maybe only knows 30% of it. So you're going to
Right.
tell me that the smartest people we have are going to describe
Shit,
something that God
shit,
gave us.
that puts me at 8.5. That's a problem.
Hey, I used to look at my SAT scores. That's the way it goes. I wasn't exactly an Excel student, but the thing is you just have to look at those kinds of things. I'm
Right.
sorry. So that's
If it is, it is. If it isn't, it isn't. It really can't change anything at this point.
no, especially at my age. My age, I turned 65 in a couple of weeks. That blows
No
my
kidding.
mind. Yeah, so it's like
No kidding.
I had to do the whole insurance. Well, it's like there's actually some benefits to becoming 65 is you get some pretty decent insurance, So I was pretty
Right.
happy to get that taken care of. But that was one of the cards I was gonna read. I won't read it now, but it's like what's the age that you had the most trouble getting to? It's like actually this one is a tough one for me. It's like to me that's practically dead as far as when I was a kid. It's like 65. Oh man, all my grandparents died at 65, and I'm still kicking, kicking it. But
Right. But 65 is such a positive because your medical kicks in that it's like it can only be fantastic.
Well, the thing that's nice is my dad's widow, Carol. She's a good lover. She's a sweetheart. Well, she's been on the Medicare Advantage for a while, and I said, "So, do you like it?" And she says, "Hey, the operation you have to have on both of your shoulders, Kelly, and I've got to have artificial ligaments put in." She's like,
Right.
"Zero cost out of your pocket, get the whole thing done." So I'm like,
Yeah.
"Okay, see if
Right.
we can
Well,
find some other crap wrong."
Hey, you know what? We paid into it. They're already fucking us on Social Security. So I don't feel bad. I've never lived off the government, so I don't give a shit. Had I taken the actual money that I put in and compounded it in some mutual funds, I'd be getting way more than they're fucking paying me. So
Yeah,
they
no.
made out on their little Ponzi scheme.
Yeah,
But eventually that Ponzi scheme is going to dry up.
and well, we'll be dead and buried before that happens.
Let's hope so. I thought the same thing about half the shit I see now going on.
Well, the
Here it
thing is,
is.
you have to have an attitude like I have. It's like, I just don't care. I really don't.
Right,
It's like,
right.
whatever happens to me is going to happen to everybody else. I've got 4 months worth of food for 4 people. So it's just me and my wife. We got 8 months of food in there that I bought from the Patriot, foods. I've got that stored water. So, hey, they can cut us off. That's fine. They'll find my wife and me skeleton spooning in a tent somewhere, and that'll be
Yeah,
fine. with me.
I'm with you. I've got some solar tubes that cook food, like you can put
Yeah.
chicken in it or a
Mhm.
hot dog. I've
Same
got the
thing.
buckets of food. I got one box. I don't know why I got this box. I don't even eat breakfast, and it was a box of like 200 breakfasts. But then I thought about it, and I'm like, well, I guess if it gets to the point that I'm eating the shit in these boxes, I don't really give a fuck what meal it is, right?
Well, here's the thing that was explained to me. I didn't even think about that because I'm a protein guy. Keto
Right.
would be the best way to describe it. But I mean, like today for lunch, I had a pork chop and a little thing
Right.
of avocado guacamole. That was it. But it's like these kits, and this guy explained it to me, and it made perfect sense. A military guy. He says, "Look, who cares about the protein? You need carbohydrates to do stuff. You're trying to survive out here. That's why I've got the oatmeal and the beans and all that kind. There's some protein in there, but you need a
Right.
lot of carbs because you're burning a lot of carbs taking care of all the stuff. I never thought about that. So that's why there's so the oatmeals and stuff for the breakfast. That's going to come in handy for you. It's going to be a good
Right.
thing, not a bad thing.
Right. It's just, well, and at that point in time, should I have to bust into those, like I said, that's probably going to be the least of my concerns.
The only thing that I'm thinking
Oh,
about doing.
scrambled eggs. This sucks. The whole world's fucking going to shit.
Well, I was thinking about it, and I just don't want to spend the money for it because it's going to cost about $1,000 to get a good generator, a solar powered generator, something
Oh,
I'd like to
right.
have,
Right.
and, but it doesn't really matter. I mean, if I have to build a fire, I've got, charcoal, I've got wood, I got kindling.
No, and it doesn't matter because if it is a nuke, the solar thing isn't going to work anyway because there will
That's
be
right.
no sun for like fucking 3 years.
So what you do is like when you eat, my grandfather used to eat Miller's cut, steel cut oatmeal, and my grandmother would put it on the counter and put water in it, let it soak overnight. It was so hard.
Really?
So yeah, that's the kind of stuff that those meals that you and I have from those prepaid Patrick stuff. if it's
Right.
not hot water, because we've got the little thing to make hot water. Just say if there's none, just put water, let it soak. I do that for my dog so it gets soft so she can eat it. So it'll
Right.
work for
Right.
us
Right.
too. Okay, well let's ask a couple. I got a couple of questions I want to ask you. So let me ask you this one. Okay, you
Fire
ready?
away.
What is the most interesting course you've ever taken in school? And on the other hand, what's the most boring course you ever took? So the most interesting course and the most boring course you ever took.
I would say the most interesting course was like political science. I guess they called it a little bit of history, but that was what intrigued me, I think, the most. Math, no, couldn't do it. Failed elementary algebra all 4 years of high school, and failed first algebra in my first year of college, and just couldn't do it. I could do the homework, but when it came down to taking the tests, just couldn't do it. When it came to writing, like when I had to write a paper, no problem. Night before, maybe sometimes the morning of it was due, always got good grades on it. I could always write, but math,
So political science was your favorite course, the best, and then the worst would be like math.
yeah, yeah, bored me. Probably, yeah. Well, you're probably a math guy just because you're smart.
Well, I loved math. I was good at it.
Right,
So,
right.
but here,
I
but
wasn't.
what's it?
I wasn't.
The most boring course I ever took, believe it or not, was the Bible as history. It was the worst course. It was terrible.
At college?
It was in college. I took it 2 semesters, the New Testament and the Old Testament, each one, and just for some English credits. But it was the most boring class I ever took in my life. There was no theology involved. It was like reading a straight book, and it just didn't have the same feel to it.
Now, let me ask. So, were you in a state college, community college, university?
Diablo Valley College up in Northern
Okay.
California.
So, would you think that as of today, someone could sign up for that same course? That's a
No.
big fuck no, right?
No, big no. It wouldn't happen. No, it
Right.
wouldn't happen. Now the
And
coolest
even you
course.
said they weren't even looking at the religious aspect of it, right? They
No,
were just sort of
no.
just reading it like it was.
And this guy was a hippie. He'd sit there and go, "Hey, check this out." He goes, he'd read something back in Jeremiah, and he'd say, "Look, see,
sound.
they took hemp and they stake to stake out the tent down and went in there and burned hemp. They got high." I'm like, I don't
Oh,
think that's what it
shit.
said, but okay, if that's what makes you get through the course, I'm like, yeah, give me an A, whatever. And now the coolest course I ever took was called Bachelor Living.
Right.
Now, this was in high school, and I did an elective course, and it was just a single thing. But the course was it taught you how to cook, how to sew, how to do laundry, how to balance your checkbook, all these different things.
Right.
And I thought it
Right.
was the coolest course I ever took. I mean,
Right.
I go home and do my laundry. My stepmom's looking at me like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I can do my own laundry. You got any fabric softener or no fabric softener?" Okay, so it was nice and learning how to cook. I mean, I kind of knew how to cook anyway, but learning how to use it and use a sewing machine. We got to use a sewing machine, so I thought
Right.
that was a cool course. Very cool.
But you had to be in somewhat of a similar situation. I don't know. I'll share mine a little bit, and not to talk poor about family or especially my mother, because obviously I love my mother. But after my father divorced my mother and all the other kids were out of the house, it was just me, right? And my mom really didn't take it well. They were married a long time, and he, was probably sort of fucked her over. So she was just in a real I don't give a shit attitude, right, for years. So me doing my own laundry and cooking and all that, was I just did. I didn't know, I just did it, right? It was that's why nowadays when you talk to some women and like their husband's like 60 something, she's like, "Oh, I'm going away next week, so I had to do the meal prep and then I got to get the laundry ready." And I'm like, "Your husband can't like cook his dinner or wash his clothes?" She's like, "No, he's never washed clothes." And I'm like, "You got to be fucking kidding me!"
Hey, well, it's like when I was sitting down with my cousin in 2021, we'd just gone to a Braves game and we're sitting there talking, and he was talking about some of the challenges he had with his wife. I said, you got to learn what your wife's love language is. Well, what do you mean? Well, there's certain things you can do that appeal to the language she's in. I said, "What is her most favorite thing in the world?" He goes, she likes a clean house. She can't wear shoes in there, nothing. You got to go in there with your socks on. I said, "Well, then do yourself a favor." I said, "One day when you know she's working late, go home early and clean the entire house." And I turned and looked at him, and he was looking at me like I had 3 eyes. He's like, "Are you kidding me? I ain't
Right.
cleaning the house. I never cleaned the house once in my life. Never." I mean, he wouldn't. He sits there at the table. If dinner's not put in front of him in a certain amount of time, he just jumps in his car and goes to this restaurant and gets something to eat. I mean, it's just like I don't
Right.
I go to a restaurant, I see what they make. I'm like, screw that. I can make it better at home. I'm gonna go make it at
Every
home.
every time.
Almost
every
every
time.
single time I'm the
But
same way.
my point being was because my mother turned to alcohol.
Okay.
So even though I was, had plenty of time by myself, which by the way, I'm not complaining. I had a fantastic time in high school. Well, probably better than most. But at least she came home. And I know your mother committed suicide when you were still in your teens, early teens.
11, 10 or
So
11. Yeah.
I'm assuming, and I'm not saying same boat because of what happened, because they're not even in the same fucking realm, but you had to just assume responsibilities and take care of shit for yourself, right? Or did someone step in, or how?
Well, see, the thing is that I lived with my father, and then I had the summers with my mother. But when I went to spend the time with my mom was a different. She was lesbian, so she was like the butch guy of the lesbians. So she's like, I'm not screwing around here. And in fact, she bought me a BB gun. Every kid has a BB gun. I even had a 22 rifle, ironically enough. But with even with the BB gun, I was kind of like threatening my cousin down at the beach one time, and she yells, "Ain't Barbara? Kelly's pointing his gun at me." And I hear the worst thing a kid can hear, Joseph Kelly Harvey. I'm like, shit, I'm so screwed. And I had to go, this is not made up. Okay. My mom had 3 patches for hitting 25 straight skeet. She was a marksman. She knew how to shoot.
No shit.
She knew her shit. So she grabbed my gun and
Wow.
she's like, run. I'm like, what? Bam. She hits me in the leg with I'm like, ah. Run.
Nice.
She hit me 4 or 5 times down the beach. Bam, bam, bam. Just don't ever point a gun at anybody ever again. So she was hardcore. I dealt with a different kind of animal. My mother was just like, hey, you want to make
Right,
money?
but was that not lesson learned?
You know what, dude?
Did you learn, right? I mean, didn't do it again, did you?
No, not at all. Not at all. I mean, when she
Right.
wanted, she's like, you want money? She's like, here's $10. And I'm like, what's that for? We're going to go buy that lawnmower, and that it comes with a gas can, and you're going to go down and buy yourself. In fact, I was just telling somebody the other day about this because it was when I bought my first gallon of gas. I had a quarter, and gas was 24 cents a gallon. And so I got a gallon of gas,
Outrageous.
and I had a penny that I
That's
bought.
because you're in California, though, right?
Actually, this was in Georgia. So it's like
Oh,
it was a Now and Later, those Now and Later candies. I had a penny to buy 4 of those, so I
yeah.
had something to eat while I was doing my first day of work.
A
You want
penny
money?
to buy
And
4.
and she told me, you owe me $10 for the lawnmower. So I had to make money to pay her back for that. She goes, this is
Right.
business. So she was tough as nails. I mean,
She
but
didn't charge you a little vig? No interest on the side? No.
no, but I mean, she did stuff like she caught me drinking a beer. Oh, okay, come here, sit down. Grab a 6-pack, sit down. And she'd pour me a beer, drink the whole thing. I drank like 2 beers till I threw up. Same thing
Right.
with cigarettes. She caught me smoking. I'm like, oh, sit down with a pack. You're gonna
Yeah.
smoke till
Yeah.
you turn green and throw up. So
Here, feel free to use this ashtray you made me.
hey,
That's what she's like.
I smoked my first bit
Oh,
of pot with
shit.
her. My first bit
No
of pot.
kidding.
Well, I told her, I
At
said,
11?
at 11 years old, yeah. Well, there was a lot of pot going on. And I said, my friends are smoking weed. I don't know what it's like. She's like, well, if you want to know what it's like, we can do it here in a controlled situation so I can watch you and you can feel what it's like. And so, I mean, it really didn't hit me. I was like, it's no big deal. It didn't hit me. But I was out and it was the first time I felt pot. I was out with our adopted brother, and we're smoking a joint out there, and things just started getting wonderful. And I was like, oh, then I heard this ding, ding, ding. I'm like, it's time to go eat. So
Oh,
it was when you really enjoyed the munchies that first time in your life when you're 11. But yeah, that's a true story.
that is early.
It was.
That wasn't happening at the Beavers house. Him and Wally were not doing that in their teens. I thought I was early at 14, but 11, shit.
No, it's like I had some. I mean, I went, and this is kind of off color, but when I went to go view my mother's body at the funeral
Right.
home in Georgia, I was
Right.
with my older cousins, and 2 of those cousins have committed suicide. This is weird. They're both gone. They're
Really?
brother and sister, and one of them was a twin. And the other twin and I are really good friends. We're family, but we all still talk, even though he's in Valdosta. But so I'm in this little Vega with my older sister, myself, and my 2 cousins, brother and sister.
Right.
And we're smoking this joint, and I'm like, I'm okay. We got to go to the funeral home, view the body. I don't want to do that. But hey, he shotguns it, turns around, and I got so high that I was throwing up on the side of the car. And
Hot guns it.
then I get there, and it's like, And I guess I could talk about these things. They
Oh
don't bother me too much
shit.
now, but I had to go look at this body. My uncle's telling me you got to be strong for people. You're the man of the house now. And I go in there and I'm looking down at my mom in a coffin, and I started laughing. I mean, I'm stoned, but it's like it was surreal to me, and I got in trouble obviously for that, but that's like I mean,
I feel like calling someone younger right now who smokes pot and asking them, do they, I don't believe they still shotgun anymore. Do you think they still do that? Do you think they
I
even
don't
know
think
what we're
so.
talking about? I know exactly what you're talking about. It was awesome.
Well, in fact, you could buy it at a shop. You could buy like a plastic, looked like a beer can, and it had a screw
Right.
top on there, and it had a pipe that ran through the top of it, and you could hit it at one side, and you put the joint on the inside. You turn it up,
No
and
kidding.
then you squeeze it, and it shotguns it out for you. So yeah,
But you know what? It takes away from it because part of the talent was not burning your tongue when you were the shotgun giver, if that makes sense, because you had to turn it around in your mouth, right?
yeah, you did, yeah.
Right. And that, that didn't go well 100% of the time for most
No,
people.
it didn't. But at hopefully that point
Red falls off in your mouth.
I hung around with some pretty outrageous guys. This one guy, we called him Snook, and Snook was older than us, and he drove a 52 step side Ford pickup truck with a
Right.
complete mount. It had a Monte Carlo chassis, modern. I mean, beautiful thing. But the guy wake up in the morning and when they had whistle switches before they had remote controls, it was a whistle switch, and he'd turn on his stuff with different whistle switches. He'd grab the 8x8 tray underneath, and he'd roll himself a couple of joints, and he could roll a joint. He cleaned the weed and put it in a little. Remember the little black film containers with the gray tops?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
All this
Shit.
old stuff.
Fucking
So that's what
little
clean all
walk
your
down
weed, put it
memory
in there.
lane.
And so he'd sit there and he'd make it with the cut corners. He'd pour a little trough in there. He'd lick the top, and he'd do it with one hand. One hand. So it's like that.
So you mentioned the film container, which is so funny because you think you're hiding your weed, but it's in like the same thing that everybody else who
Yeah,
thinks they're hiding their weed is using. So
exactly.
it's like you'd have been better off putting it in a baggie that just said weed.
It's
But
the
but
whole.
did you have hold on, did you have the Crown Royal bag?
Of course, I still have two of them.
Okay, because I was in Michigan. You grew up not in Michigan, obviously. All me and my buddies, we all had the Crown Royal bag,
We
so
call
that
them
was
fag bag. A
universal.
fag bag. You got a fag bag? Yeah, I got two of them, man. And that was the
No
one.
kid.
Yeah. And so then when I was actually in at doing bartending at Black Angus, when they still put the bags on there, I'd go and
Right.
grab them and take them off before they got
Right.
taken off. So I'd give it to my friends who are musicians. You got to have one of these to put all your stuff in. If you're a musician, you got to have a fag
Oh,
bag. So yeah, of
so that's
course.
just another funny way of saying that every cop in the whole country, when he flashed his light and saw the gold cord coming out of the top of the purple bag under your seat, was like, step out of the vehicle.
It blows my mind. I think about the evolution of this stuff
Oh
when I think
shit!
about being 18 years old or 17 years old and having to park 2 blocks away from the guy who's dealing, and you got to stay in the car while this guy goes 2 blocks over to buy a bag of weed, which a dime bag was an ounce. That was $10, and so you buy that
Right,
Mexican weed. I mean, it
right.
was crazy.
Filled with 10,022 seeds.
Seeds, yeah, no kidding.
You had to use the shoebox, right?
I actually know somebody who got arrested for possession because of that weed situation, all the seeds, you had to put them somewhere. So he put them in a canister on his like his bar. And
Right.
it was beautiful, all this tortoise looking shells in there, but it was over a pound of seeds. And he got busted for that was a pound of weed. It's
And
like
I
that.
don't even think they would grow anything, would they? Those shit
Oh yeah,
seeds?
you can grow. I
They
mean,
would?
well, it would grow more shit weed, yeah. But you also have to know how to grow weed. You can isolate it and get the females in it, and then you'll get better weed. But it shouldn't have seeds. Sensimilla means no seeds. So I used to grow weed.
Really? I
So
didn't know that.
yeah.
I remember the name from, like back then. I don't know if they still have it, but that was the quality. That was the top shelf. That or anything had the word Hawaiian in it. Remember?
You know what? Because I remember my buddies and I, there were three of us or four of us, we bought a pound of weed for, I don't know what it was, but we ended up getting a quarter pound each. We were able to sell 3 ounces and have a whole ounce. And we just thought that was just a heyday. But then when I came back, came back and I lived with some friends of mine. The guy up above the hill, he called it blue gray thunder puggy. Snook, the guy was telling Snook, he had weed for
Yeah.
sale that was $25 a quarter, and we're like, what? What would I pay $25 a quarter for? That's when we discovered that blue gray, skunky, nasty,
Skunk,
stick to.
right. Skunk
Oh
weed,
my
right.
God!
Right.
And so, I mean, in fact, one of those times I
World of
had
difference.
one of my friends had hash oil. Snook had the weed, and I had hash. And we were going
Oh,
to the Mabuhay Gardens in San Francisco to watch a show. And I was underage. I was 17, and so I went anyway. And we rolled 4 joints of good weed with hash and hash oil. Each one of those had one.
oh, Jesus.
So we're sitting in this club, and Mabuhay Gardens is, you look it up sometime, it is the original punk rock club. I mean, I think the Sex Pistols were there and all these different groups. Carol Dota's The Condor Club was right down on the corner. It was a really seedy area right there on Broadway. And so we were sitting in there, and Snook takes out and pulls out a joint, and the cocktail waitress comes around, and he just like, she takes a joint, takes a hit of it, and stands, takes another hit of it. She's like, whoa. And she came back. We got like free drinks, took care of us. So we're smoking pot in this club, and Snook had removed the mark off my hand and hand drew one that looked like I could drink. So, because they made an underage mark on me, so I couldn't drink. So he changes it, and we're drinking beers and stuff like that, no problem. Hey, go get me some Cools. He smoked Cools. I went over to get some Cools. The bouncer grabs my hand. He goes, "That's not our stamp. You need to get out of here." And so I'm like, "Shit, yeah." So I'm like,
Because
I got
Snook wasn't quite the artist you thought he was.
it's like, well, I thought he was. Anyway, they made me leave. I grabbed my jacket and I leave. And if you know the streets around Broadway, it's almost like a 30-degree angle going up these hills. And so I'm
Right.
kind of trudging my way up back to the car. And my other buddy, Rob, was already passed out in the car already. And I got to about a place where I had to stop. And there was one of these city-made playgrounds that was all cement and metal teepees and a swing and a little horse on a spring. And this guy goes, "Hey." And I look up, and all of a sudden I felt a knife or something sharp in my back. He goes, "Keep walking." I'm like, "Hey." No, I was getting robbed right there as I'm walking. And I'm like, "Hey." I'm all fucked up. And me, stupid me, because I love to brawl, I'm thinking, I can turn around and I can take him. I thought, fuck you. You're going to lean into this knife and kill yourself is what you're going to do. So I go, "What do you want?" He goes, "Just the green." And so I took out my Levi's Velcro wallet and went like that. And he took it open, ripped out the $40 that was left and took off. And I'm thinking, he didn't get the quarter ounce that's in my boot. So I still had weed in my boot, but I actually
Right.
got robbed. So it's like, don't do drugs. They'll get you in trouble every single time. That's a true story, man. That's San Francisco madness.
It's pretty accurate also, too.
Crazy, crazy.
Do you believe in the idea of reincarnation?
Don't. I mean, I just don't think that works that way. I mean, I don't think that you come back like the Hindus are kind to cows because they don't want to, eat their uncle. They think that this is, I might be reincarnated to an animal or maybe to the next level. But no, I don't believe that. I think and not, I think it's just terrible to think that way. It doesn't work.
Will they eat their aunt?
I don't, I'm sure they would. It's like, I just,
Poor Let's go on with your story.
no,
We'll edit
no.
that little joke out.
Hey, no, so what do you think? What do you think about that?
I don't think so. I believe that we don't come back. I think people think we do because there's such a thing as when you think you've what do they call that when you think you've been in this moment before?
Deja vu.
Deja vu, right. So you have deja vu, and it's almost like you can finish the sentence of what's going on. So it's like you do know. And it's like, okay, so does that teeter on reincarnation? Does it teeter on the brain? Does it teeter on the fact that maybe we're in some type of dimension that is more advanced than we can wrap our head around?
You know what I think it is, honestly, from a science. I mean, not everybody thinks this way, but I think it's like it's a dysfunction in your motor synapse. It's like you receive information, but there was a delay in you actually receiving it, and so it feels like you're seeing it twice. It's like,
So it's a glitch in you.
right. I think that's what it is. It's
That is an interesting
a
way to.
dysfunction in your motor synapse. It's like, nah, I'm sorry, this doesn't work for me that way. Okay, what event or activity in the next few months are you looking forward to more than anything else?
Well, an activity in the next few months. Well, I'm going back to Vietnam in August, and
Ooh,
I can't wait. I wish it was fucking tomorrow. And I'm only, and here's how bad I am, right? I can't even fucking enjoy something. The only thing I can focus on is, oh man, I've only got 16 days there, 14 days there. I'm bummed, right? Because it's like I know how great it's going to be, so automatically I'm like, it's like when you're on. I don't know if you do this. When I'm on vacation, it's like the first day you're not thinking about it, and then like halfway through the vacation, right? You're like, man, I'm halfway through the vacation, right? Oh, I've only got 2 days left. Do you do that? I mean, you get like you're a little bit more even keeled than I am, but I'm like, I don't know why I look at and regret shit like that. Like, oh man, it's almost over, and I'm bummed.
Everybody does, man. It's because you want the fun to last forever. I mean, it's like
Yeah,
it's there. I mean, I've had those vacations where it's like, man, can't I just get a couple more days? It'd be nice.
I can't wait to go back. I mean, it's going to be great food. I love seeing her family, the culture there. We always go someplace new. I think this time we're going to be looking to go up to Hanoi. Even her as a Vietnamese, because she's from the South. So the South and the North, it's all one country now. But I don't know if we've talked about this before. But it's still not.
Right.
There's a different vibe.
Yeah. Yeah.
The communism part of Vietnam definitely comes from the North. As far as in the South, I think they'd rather be. Thank you, dude. I love you too. But
That was from him, honey.
I think they, but anyway, aside from that, she's never been to the North. And so that's what's sort of cool because the other places we've been the last 3 times or so that we went, she's been to those areas, right? Because they were in the South. So it's sort of unique because now we're going, so even she's like, oh, we need to take a tour because I'm not going to be of any help, right? I don't know the area. So I'm looking forward to that. It's going to be fantastic.
Wow.
I'm gonna enjoy her seeing a new part of her. Like when we go to a new state, right? Like
Yeah.
that we haven't been to. We go to a new state. We're like, fuck, this is why America fucking rocks.
Right. Exactly.
Because there's so many unique attributes to every area from the culture to the geographics to the views to the people, the food. I joke all the time when I meet someone from Utah. I don't know if you're aware of this, but in Utah they have what's called fry sauce. So if you go any, and I mean any, I'm not even fucking exaggerating. You go any place to get a burger or fries or something in a restaurant in Utah, it's going to come with fry sauce. And fry sauce, if you look up the recipe online, you can find a bootleg recipe. It's basically a mayonnaise and ketchup mixture. Little paprika, onion powder, garlic, I'm not sure. The key ingredient is about a teaspoon or so, depending on what you're making, tablespoon of pickle juice. So it gives a little bit of tartness to it. But I'm telling you, I loved it. I mean, everybody loves it. I order fries just to fucking drink the sauce. So the fry sauce, but if you talk to anybody outside of Utah, they don't know what the fuck fry sauce is. And I joke with Utah people all the time. I'm like, how? I go, you guys have kept that fry sauce a better secret than the government has been able to keep the aliens.
Well, it's the same thing with like Michigan and such. You've got the cheese curds. They don't understand Wisconsin and Michigan. You've got these deep fried cheese things that are just outrageously good.
Wisconsin, yeah. Or Detroit has the Coney Islands, but even Chicago has Coney Islands. So it does spread a little bit. But that fry sauce doesn't leave the fucking state line.
I've never heard of that. I'll have to check that out somewhere.
Dude, I will send you a recipe. Hold on, let me write that down. Fry sauce to Joe.
Please. Hey, just to let you know, when I was living in Lakewood, I had like two different grow boxes, and I output about a pound every 2 months of weed, of good quality weed. And I've been doing it for a little bit by myself. And then my daughter had this friend, I called him Gilligan, who's like my little buddy. And he and my daughter went as dates to the prom because they didn't have dates and they were friends. He's a neighborhood guy. And so he came over to see my grow operation, and was just like talking about these different things. And I'm like, you know what you're talking about. So I ended up in maybe 25 minutes, I made him a partner of mine. I said, you don't even have to give me any money. Just come in from right now and we'll do this right now and we'll split things right down the middle. And I developed this relationship, and I'm sitting there the first day he comes over, he goes, oh, I got some music. Cause I basically lived in my garage. I had a futon right next to my grow boxes and everything. And we had access to a lot of growers and, or shops in Long Beach. And when they were closing down because they had this lottery and you had to be, to get a shop license, you had to win in the lottery. I got a lot of good mother plants, real good types of weed that I would grow. And so Adrian comes over and he's playing this song, and I'm like, who is this? And he says, it's Revolution. I said, Revolution? He goes, no, Rebel, like Rebel, Revolution. And I'm like, whoa. And I was listening to all the songs on this album, and I just fell in love with this music. And he died about maybe 3 years after that of spinal meningitis. Well, I mean, it's one of these.
Oh.
I mean, he had a headache on Friday. He was dead on Tuesday. I mean, it's just one of these things that happens.
Oh, so he wasn't even like, isn't that when sometimes you're like sort of curved over and stuff, or no?
No, what happens is you've got this circle of Willets, this circle of blood flow that comes from your carotids up here, and it feeds into what's called the blood-brain barrier. And there's the level where because your nervous system is closed system. You can't put anything in there. Everything's got to be filtered. It can't be polluted or you'll die. It's got to have a smooth running. It's got to have greased wheels, so to speak. And what happens is when you get spinal or viral meningitis, the meninges, which are the coverings of the brain, they break down and blood starts to seep in to your nervous system and it pollutes it like drinking water gets polluted with blood or piss or whatever, but your system starts shutting down. But he just went to with a bad migraine on a Friday and he was dead on Tuesday.
That is crazy.
So every year, because of that, and my daughter Miranda and I, we go see Revolution every year. So that's what I'm looking forward to. Is August 8th, we go see Revolution.
And it's a song, right?
It's a bunch of different songs. It's a group. They're from Santa Barbara, and
so you go see them when they're playing live.
Oh yeah, I've seen everybody. I've seen the Marleys, Sons. I've seen Iration. I've seen Slightly Stoopid. All these different groups that are amazing. I've been to these One Love. It was funny. Took my wife to a One Love concert, and my wife doesn't none of that stuff, right? So it's about 9 o'clock in the evening. We've been there all day, and Revolution's playing, and she turns to look at us, and she's like, "These guys are so amazing." I'm like, "Oh shit." Girl's got a contact buzz. Contact high. She's high as a kite. And give me the keys. I'm driving. Okay, don't worry. I'm good.
Yeah, and when you go up to use the restroom, grab me some popcorn.
No, because at these One Loves, they have these $20 chicken sandwiches that are massive. It was the first time I had this like a Krispy Kreme donut. That consistency, cut in half with a scoop of softened ice cream put on there. I'm like, oh my gosh,
shit, that does sound good.
It was amazing. So
fantastic.
that's it's like. And I want some Funyuns too, man. Put some Funyuns with that. It's got the stoner food.
I would love to play it, but I'm afraid if I play a little clip of this song, we're going to get another fucking copyright warning bullshit thing, and I don't want to have any strikes against it. So can you write this down?
I am.
And I hope anyone listening does write this down. If you want to hear a really cool version of a classic song. So you remember the song Sound of Silence? I don't know if that.
Oh, I know. I even know where you're going with it.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
Yeah.
So anyway, this group Disturbed.
Yeah, I've seen them.
Have you seen it?
I've seen the group, but I've seen the group.
No.
Yeah,
you went it live?
No. I saw them before they did that. I saw them when they opened up for Creed, and I left when Creed showed up. They were terrible, but these guys were amazing. That guy's voice was amazing. Yeah.
It's smooth.
When I heard him do that, like that bass, hello, darkness, my old friend, I'm like, holy smokes, dude. I got chills just thinking about it. Amazing.
No, it's fantastic. I think I might have heard it before, but I had a friend of mine remind me over the weekend. They're like, oh, you got to listen to this song. And I'm like, oh, that sounds familiar. But it's mind-blowingly good for something that's done as completely radically different, right?
Well, I'm one of these fans of. I mean, I know it sounds terrible. It's Five Finger Death Punch is a group that it sounds like. Why would you even like those guys? I like music in a minor chord. I mean, it's got that because happy like here we go.
Right, more of a dark, edgy.
That kind of stuff. I love that kind of music. I mean, the best classical songs, Mozart, his best stuff is in minor chords. So that's what gets me is those kinds of things. And Five Finger Death Punch has a guy that he did a bunch of different stuff. He was with Alice Cooper and actually with Mandy Moore and Hannah Montana. He ended up going and working with this group, Five Finger Death Punch, and it's got such an amazing vibe to it, but it's not something that I would play for my parents if they were still alive. It's not their kind of music. So what you're saying in short is that you're not playing those songs at mom and dad's
50th anniversary party.
Well, put it this way: that one time when I used to play guitar pretty well, I was playing at a church one time, and I was warming up with some rock and roll. And the guy looks up, he goes, "Don't play that in here." It's like I'm warming up, man.
Yeah.
It's scales.
Is that, then you switched to a Baptist church, and they were like all grooving with you, right?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, being from the South, I'm sure, were you Baptist when you were down there?
Dude, I had a bad situation because my mom was very liberal. I mean, she was being gay and everything, so long hair was fine with. I could have long hair, but they talked about me to my face in the congregation about those long-haired hippie guys and I'm sitting here, I got hair down past my shoulder. So
Really?
yeah, I mean,
Now, see, that is such fucking bullshit, because what is less Christian than that particular act?
well, it's true, and that we call them church ladies. Well, it's nice for you to come to church every third or fourth Sunday. That kind of attitude. But I have a problem with people like that because I'm just going to be myself. I may say things
Right.
that are off color. I mean, even we had a new guy in our church, and I'm not even gonna tell you what church I go to because I don't want to get anybody in trouble. But we have a sense of humor, and so we're not bad people. But I went in there and I was upset about something, and I had some tears in my eyes when I left my mentor's office, and they're decorating the sanctuary for some children's event. And the new guy, he's a youth ministry. He goes, "Hey, is Kelly okay?" And Scott says, "Yeah, I just told him he sounded like shit on Sunday." I mean, it's like this guy. I can't, and the other girls are laughing about it. Come on, we're sense of humor. God's got a sense of humor. It's not that bad. We weren't blaspheming anything.
It is funny. That is fucking classic. Well, let's leave it on that note. That is awesome. My friend, always a pleasure. What a great show. I'm going to have fun with this one. I'm going to come up with hey, how do you like the graphics? You like the graphics I put on all the shows?
They're nice, dude. It's like I need to learn how to use some things like put videos on screen and stuff like that. I'm going to play with
Yeah.
that this week. I got your notes today. And so I'm like, okay, these are things I want to work on. That's why
Yeah, I got to
kind of
figure
work
that
with
out
some.
too. Well, listen, we appreciate everybody. If you've hung in this far, one of you or two of you, because our statistics show that there are a couple people that actually listen to the whole show. So thank you.
Hey, they're just folding their laundry. You need something to listen to while they're doing that. That's fine with me.
Well, Shay does it while she's doing her artwork.
There you
People
go,
have
Shay.
different downtime.
Thank you, Shay.
We appreciate it, and definitely drop a line in the comments. You want to join the show? We'd love to have somebody on. I think that'd be so awesome to do some roundtable questions with one of our listeners.
And let me do something here. Let me shout out to a Western Restaurant Consulting. I mean, they're the kind of company that takes your vision and delivers a thriving reality, and that's what I appreciate about those guys. It's amazing.
Well, thank you. They are a generous sponsor of our show.
Yes.
All 14 cents an episode. Okay, pal.
Well,
sign us off.
Thank you very much, you guys. You guys have a wonderful week and be good human beings. Tony, take care of yourself, brother. It was nice seeing you. Adios.
Talk to you soon. Bye.